Okay guys, just wanted to walk you through today. This is a suspension compressor off a 2008 Cadillac Escalade ESV, but it should be the same compressor off the 2008 all the way up to the 2014, and then they changed it and fixed some issues, but otherwise it should be almost identical. So we've already taken this one out of the housing over here, and I've disassembled it. I just want to go through what's in here. This is a really simple apparatus, guys. I don't want you to think you can't fix this compressor, so that's why we're going to go through it here, okay? So first thing we're going to start with is, I believe this is just an air dryer. This is, I mean, there's nothing going on here. There's air in, air out, and then there's actually a pressure sensor here, okay? So this is just a basic pressure sensor. You can probably just get the part number off of that if it fails. This just turns. To take it out, you just give it a half turn and pop it out. And so we're just going to throw that to the side because we don't have an issue with this part. Our compressor was completely seized up. So the first thing we did is we took off the top part of the compressor, take this bracket off, which shows you inside of the compressor. And so this is the top part of the starter motor. So that basically this is a starter motor, guys. If you're used to a starter motor, shaft comes up here, there's a counterweight here, and this is the actual piston in here. So this is the piston here that moves up and down and actually compresses the air, okay? So you should be able to move this. I mean, this should move pretty freely, and actually this piece pops off if you do want to take it off. And what you're probably going to find in your compressor is this has seized up in here, and you need to put some penetrating oil on it and get it greased up and get it moving again, okay? So get that thing moving again, get some grease and stuff on it. This one works great again after we've unseized it. So we did find a couple other problems with this compressor. One, the wires were frayed and shorted out. So we did fix those and put some new wires in here. We soldered those wires, heat shrink wrap around it all. So we'll put those back in again. This is multi-strand wire, so it's much more flexible in the cold temperatures and stuff. But the other thing that we found is at the top of the compressor, there's a little solenoid here that lets the air in and out, okay? And when we put power to this, it wasn't working. And so if you pull this apart, so you can pull this cap off, it's got a seal on it, you're gonna cut the seal. Inside is what you're gonna find is this electromagnetic solenoid. And when you energize this, you should feel this thing hum, okay? You should feel it hum. Actually, better yet, instead of hum, you should feel a little click. And if you're not feeling that little click, it's probably seized. So if you're not feeling the hum, it's shorted out and it's not working at all. This one was shorted out and not working. So what we did is we put it in a vise, kind of how like I'm holding it here. We took a straight screwdriver on each one of these, punched these tabs out, punched it straight down, and then this whole thing drops out. You do not need to punch this center one because it's actually part of the pin that's inside of here, so you can just leave that. Once you get in here, what you're going to find under the blue tape is you're going to find some solders and some really, really fine wire. We were able to solder those connections back together, and this thing works again. The other thing we did is we pulled the piston out of here that rides up and down when it's magnetized, and we cleaned it up and we added a little oil and stuff to it, so it now runs up and down properly again. So now we can put this whole thing back together and we have a compressor. Actually, we didn't spend any money on this job, probably just an hour to get this all apart and cleaned up and wire brush some things and oil some things, and we're going to put it all back together now, and it should be running fine. Okay guys, this is what that solenoid should sound like when it's working. You can feel it clicking back and forth. Okay, and here's the compressor working. Okay, so all the parts are functional and working. We're going to button it back up and get it back in the truck.